Hey, for everyone who's coming back here on Limerick City Community Radio, your city, your station, your voice, and also for our viewers on the YouTube channel, Having a Life While Making a Living. I'm excited to have Denise Fay online. Denise is from Drogheda, and she won't let you forget it either, from County Louth. I've spent a few visits there, and I've seen the beautiful sights, and she's guided me around the beautiful sights as if she was working for Walsh Island. So, Denise, welcome to the channel. How are you?
Hey Patrick, how's it going? I am delighted to be here. So I'm excited to talk to you.
Fantastic. And I'm right, yeah, you're from Louth and you're a proud Louth woman, correct?
I am a proud Louth woman and I am from Drogheda and I do love Drogheda. It's one of the most historical towns in the country, and I won't go on a rant about it, but it is fabulous. And County Louth is the wee county and it is really just quite spectacular. So I love it.
Yes, and you've shown me some of the sites, and I have to agree. We even walked the Drogheda Riviera one day, remember?
Oh my gosh, that was so lovely. Do you remember the sun was shining and it's a 10K walk and it was just fabulous. But you know what? There's so much more for you to see. So you're going to have to come back up again, to be fair.
Oh, we will manage that. We will manage that. Absolutely. And thanks for your hospitality. So tell me a bit about your background. We know you're from Louth now, but what else? How did you grow up? What did you do?
Well, I'm from Drogheda and I don't know how far back you want me to go, but I went to school in Drogheda. And then when it came to going to college, well, that was obviously always on the cards. I went to UCD then. So I took the big trip now from the bus up from Drogheda up to the concrete bus stop, as it was quite known at the time, to UCD to study business and law. And my twin sister went to Trinity. So I was very lucky that I had my friends in UCD, and then we had Lorraine's friends in Trinity as well. So that was great.
Oh, that must have been fantastic days.
Yeah, like, you know what, it's interesting times because I would be walking through, so we'd get the train to Pearse Street Station, which is just on the other side of Trinity. Mm-hmm. So, and the science building was on that side as well. So I'd say goodbye to Lorraine and the science building, and I'd walk through Trinity, and then I'd sometimes catch like the number 3 or the 46A bus out to UCD, mm-hmm. and I'd be walking through Trinity, and people would just be saying like, hi, hello, hi, all these people, right? And so I'd always say hi back, but clearly they thought that it was Lorraine, and they never realized that actually for a while that Lorraine had a twin. So they were like, how could you be in 2 places at the same time?
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Do you ever play around with that, being a twin? No?
No, not really. Like, we were so square, I suppose. I was like, I've only discovered my fun side like later on in life, but actually back then probably not as much as we could have, to be fair.
So where does a degree in business and law from UCD bring you to then afterwards?
Well, a degree in business and law brought me to, I really wanted to do law, right? So law, all the books, all the learnings, all the, the precedents that came before it, that was really what drove me and what really caught my interest when I was in college. And I did do the business side of things. So our course was like 3/4 business, 3/4 law, but it was the law that really I loved and I spent more time on. The business stuff, I suppose, came easier, and it's only upon reflection that you realize that. So I applied to be a solicitor to go Blackhall Place. Mm-hmm. So that was that. But then in the meantime, I needed money, right? Because I was 21 or whatever, and I was tired of being broke, of being a poor student. I was tired. And then what happened was I applied for a number of IT jobs. And when I say IT jobs, I applied on spec for business graduates, because I thought, well, if these companies are hiring IT graduates, because you're talking, this is back in the dark ages, right, 1997, but like the IT stuff was all kind of rising up, like in the dot-com boom and stuff like that, Patrick. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so long story short, I applied for one company. They were so impressed by my logic that they said, you know what, we need to hire you. And that company was Datalex, Neil Wilson. He was great at the time. And so then I got hired, and I never actually looked back. I never looked back at the law, and I stayed in the business side of things. And I stumbled on a job in marketing.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so what happened was in that company, so they were like, they took me on as kind of a business graduate, mm-hmm. and they were kind of moving focus, or changing focus themselves. Mm-hmm. And the chap that took me on, Kieran Brannigan, lovely guy, took me on the 1st of September, but left on the 31st of October. So obviously there was stuff going on, you know, and as you get older, you kind of understand politics or whatever. So there was something going on. So he left. So there was me and another graduate, Karina, and we were left. And it was like, okay, so we were kind of tasked with trying to bring more marketing into this sales organization. So literally it was a case of taking out the books again and actually starting to apply like real-time logic onto stuff. And with that, I suppose it was a baptism of fire. There was a lot of responsibility. There was a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of excitement. And so it's actually just a really good grounding in marketing. And then that's when I thought, actually, this could be for me. So that's that.
Excitement, but also stress, I imagine. Yeah?
I suppose, you know, I was 22, 23,
Right,
stress
okay.
didn't come into it, right? So it was just
so it was basically
excitement.
So it was basically ask the young ones to do the marketing. Right?
Yeah, like the young graduates,
Yes, that's
who
what I
actually had
mean.
an
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
in this, right? But yeah, you know, it was really exciting. Like it was exciting times because actually there was definitely a sense of that whole .com era, right? There was a case of like, you know, we're building this company, it's going to be worth a fortune, we're going to make a fortune. And it started to change from like legacy software, not to get too complicated, but it started moving from legacy software into like internet software and actually making use of the internet at the time. And it was exciting. I mean, it really was. And then I think they bought another company because then I got another boss and then they kind of moved different buildings in Hoth. It was just exciting times. It was definitely really,
Yeah.
and it was different. I suppose when you look back at it, and we've actually had these conversations, it was different. It was just not necessarily disruption, but I suppose it was disruption. It was like a changing of an industry, you know, going from legacy to internet and making the most of it. So yeah, it was great. It was great. And from there, of course, at a 24-year-old or 23-year-old, I was like, God, yeah, I think I've actually outgrown this role and stuff. And so then actually got another job in, I wanted to kind of move more into kind of PR because I was working in different, so I saw those different strands of marketing. So I moved into more into PR and then internal marketing. And then as it turned out, I was only in that job in Siemens for 6 months when I got headhunted for a company that's kind of like a competitor to Datalex was the company, Gradient Solutions was the company's competitor, and they were looking for marketing people. And my CV had still been on their files and stuff like that. So they came looking for me. But then, so then I started working for Gradient Solutions, which was another disruptor, another great company to work with. And then to fill in the blanks, they got bought by a big American company. And then I worked for the big American company for years until I got made redundant. But in the meantime, I had decided that I love marketing and I was going to do my master's. So I did my master's in international marketing out in Market School.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff happening in a very short period of time, which was indicative of those times. I think it was like I worked in the tech industry back in the 90s and all that, and it was like they get bought out while they were buying out someone else, they got bought out themselves. You know, that kind of way. Like, so yeah, it was nuts.
You know, it's great. Like, you know, there's a book called Dot Bomb, and I remember reading it on a plane when I was working for Sabre at the time, and I'm reading it and I'm going, oh my gosh, I can so relate to all of this. Like, you know, there was just kind of this balloon, and it was like we're going to make, like, you know, there was talk at the time was like $50 a share and all this kind of stuff. Like I mean, I guess it was exciting times because it was the unknown. Like, really, I suppose, wasn't it? People didn't know too much about the internet, and it was good times.
And you said something else that resonated with me because I had to do it. Well, I did it as well, and I had to do it as well. Which is like I was on a plane for work, right? At the time, that happened a lot. So you worked internationally, then, Denise, yeah?
Yeah. Because I suppose look at it was great when Sabre came on board. I was part of the team that helped, you know, integrate our marketing team in Dublin with the big corporate one in the US. So that was quite, again, another baptism of fire, you know, because you're going from small marketing, small budgets to necessarily bigger budgets, but more people involved. You have to run through lots of stuff like the corporate team, the comms team, the PR team, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then ultimately then before I left or before I got hepoed, I was pretty much based in Dublin. I had a team of product advocates in Europe, and then I had the team in America that I worked with. So I was kind of going back and forth all like, you know, different places, different times.
And then another thing that your story and my story have in common was redundancies at the end of it, because that was nearly inevitable as well, was it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was it from that redundancy then that you started working for yourself?
Yeah, it really was. So I guess the writing was on the wall because I had to like, I love American words, and American companies. So we were launching two big products at the time. I had responsibility for 10 products. So I had to sunset 7 of them to make way for the two. So I launched two and they moved on to different owners, different product owners. And then I sunset 7 and then so they were kind of disappeared. So then I pretty much had no products. I think there was one in there, but that was kind of disappearing. And then I got made redundant in March, and then I pretty much did, like, kind of wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I decided I'd set up Achieve Marketing and pretty much went full time with it in 2006.
And 2006, and it's 2023, and you're still Achieve Marketing.
Yeah, 17 years yet later, honest to God, yeah.
Massive, massive. No. There's not a lot of companies that last that long, Denise, right?
Yeah, I suppose I should have gave it up a long time ago, at different times. I probably did give up on it loads of times, just never got rid of the name. Got never, but yeah, look, it's good.
Well, yeah, look, you're still doing it. You're still working for yourself. You still Achieve Marketing, and I know one of the things that like struck me when I first met you was that you kind of have this knack of finding people that make a difference and working with them. How did you come up? Was that natural? Is that how you are, or how did you get to kind of finding people like that?
Yeah, I think that's the universe. I think it's, and actually, you know what, you had said at one time before, Patrick, and I'm going to give you credit. Well, I'll give you loads of credit, but I'll give you credit for maybe articulating it. You had said before, like, the energy that I had given out was different than others. And at the time I kind of dismissed it, but actually it's been percolating in my mind quite a bit. And I actually think that maybe the marketing, I suppose, that I do is different than other people's marketing. Like, I still use concepts. I mean, like, I'm a voracious reader of marketing. I love marketing. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing tool. It's often misunderstood, I suppose, as a tool, and I suppose maybe I come from a traditional side of things, perhaps because I'm old now. But I think I think maybe it's my, how do I attract people with a difference? Because I want to make a difference, I suppose. And it's nice to work with people. So other people who want to make an impact and an income, then I think they're kind of like, it's almost like kindred souls, and like we're all attracted to each other. So I suppose maybe it's the energy that I put out to get the people that I really want to work with. And I'm really lucky to be able to work with people who want to make a difference, like yourself.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I have you here on the show as well, because like I know there's people who listen in, and people that I know, people in the network who make a difference. Like, that's why I'm emphasizing as well that you actually like working with people who make a difference. So.
And I think, I guess, I suppose, maybe is it that I'm getting older, or is it maybe that I'm just owning my own difference? And that is one of my kind of intentions for this year, is to own my own difference. But like, all the people who are talking about, like, you can make 10,000, 20,000 a year and all that, a month and a day and all that kind of stuff, that appeals to certain kind of people. That's not necessarily who I want to attract. I want to attract people who want to make money, for sure. Don't get me wrong, Patrick, right? We all want to make, living. And I think the people who I attract who want to make a difference, they actually make money to invest it back to their communities, to support other people, to make a difference in many ways with their money. But if you make a difference just with the people that you work with alone, it's just so satisfying. And I think just the world is just a better place. Let's put that way.
Correct. And when you satisfy, by the way, even if you're like a holistic practitioner like myself, when you're able to satisfy your own lifestyle and live the lifestyle you want with the money you make, that's going to make you energetically in a position to even make a bigger impact. Because if you're like, if you're selling yourself short, you'll sell other people short. So it makes
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. So you came up with something really clever. Well, I think it's really clever in the last year.
Many things, Patrick. Tell me what one in particular.
Yeah. It's called the Fay Way. What's the Fay Way, Denise?
Okay, the Fay Way is, and it goes back to, I just kind of cloud before I go back and to answer your real question. The Fay Way is my own method, right? So I articulated a way, like I used to, as I said, I do marketing differently than other people. And that's fine. And I've been doing kind of a system here and there, but I actually finally got around to putting a word on it last year. And it's something that, and I'd encourage anybody who is listening to come up with their own system of doing things. Actually, when I say that, come up with their own system, everybody has their own system, but it's a way to articulate it. It's like you having a life while making a living. You know, I think that is just amazing. It's really, really great that people can hook onto, and you can really just drive it forward. And so the Fay way is the Fay way to marketing. So it goes from everything from the foundations, setting your foundations, and marketing goes right way to yielding what you reap. And I'm a real big community builder. I think it's important that we actually all work together. And so when I say yield what you sow, it's like putting all those seeds together, rinse and repeat all the systems that you would have, and then kind of build people around you, build systems around you, and build a community around you. So you can actually go back to the foundations again. So pretty much like the Fay way, to break it out, it's like foundations, your audience, your you factor. So that's the Fay part of it. And then the way, words is really important. I really don't think we put enough attention to that, words. And then you talk about how you attract people, and then you reap what you sow. So if you actually look at it, a lot of people would take it from the other way around. They'll look at it like, how do we attract so many people? But I like to say, you know what, in order to attract the right people, you need to have, like, you know, some foundations, and you need to know who you're targeting, etc. So that would be the Fay way to marketing. So it's a proven 6-stage system to marketing.
There's another word, because you said words are important. There's a word you used 3 or 4 times, I think, in the last 5 or 10 minutes, which is community. That seems to be very important to you.
Yeah, you know, I suppose, again, when you look back, you know, to when you do some introspection and you look back at, you know, what you're good at and what you've got like strengths in, the community would be one of mine, like, you know, building little pockets of, and it's not just a network, you know, it's actually supporting people and building connections, I suppose. Well, connections, one of my drivers, and we've talked about, you know, you're a big believer in marketing to your strengths. Connections, one of my, and your values. Connection is really one of my key strengths in how I connect with people. And I think if we connect well and create community, well, then the world's just a better place as well.
It is, absolutely.
Plus, in saying that, like, you know, the world is a better place, but plus actually you get to build, like, you know, raving fans. And I'll always say that, like, you know, of people who will support you and they will shout out for you and they'll refer you. So from a marketing perspective, building communities is a great idea, because then you've got people, they're almost like your secret sales force going out there and saying, God, you know what, I'm actually working with, like, you know, Patrick Mercy. He is an amazing holistic business coach, and you really need to talk to him. That's one element. Then another element is, like, somebody's really, like, you know, burnt out, and you'll say, well, you know what, actually you can't have a life while making a living, and I know a guy who would actually be able to help you out with that. So that's where the raving fans come in. So people are selling you without you even selling yourself, you know, going out there. That makes sense.
Yeah. So one of the things you do to connect all these people into a community, right? See how I use connection and community there?
I got that.
To connect all these people into a community is you have something called the Achievers Club. Maybe tell the people who are listening in 2 minutes what that is.
Well, the Achievers Club is a membership. It's a monthly membership community where people who want to make a difference kind of come together and support each other. Ideally, or we get training. I give training once a month, and I give support every week. Yeah. So I think it's important that in order to do marketing, you need to keep going, right? And I'll always say, so it doesn't matter if you go 1 step an hour or 100 miles an hour. I don't really care, as long as you're keeping going with your momentum. So I try to create more marketing momentum with the Achievers Club. So where we celebrate successes and I share all leading edge marketing ideas. Because here's the thing, and I just wrote it in a blog recently, there's so much marketing information out there, and it's hard to know what to do, what to look at, you know, shiny objects, you know, syndrome. You've got like this chat CGT that's really, like, you know, new kid on the block at the moment, and you kind of look at it and go, people go, brilliant, and they scurry down that road. But really you need to kind of stay true to who you are and who you're marketing to, and that's what I help people do in the Achievers Club.
Okay, fantastic.
While having a bit of fun.
While having a bit of fun. So it's one masterclass a month and then a weekly get together to brainstorm and, like, bounce up each other. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, and then it's going to be the new community element being created now as well.
Okay, fantastic. So if people want to look up the Fay Way, the Achievers Club, or Achieve Marketing, what's the best channels for them to find out all the right information, Denise?
Well, they could follow me on all the social channels, Denise Fay, but then there's the website achievemarketing.ie, and then there's denisefay.com. That's just for me and the speaking and all that kind of stuff.
Speaking, you speak.
I do speak.
You're talking online here to the 2022 president of the PSA. People who listening to my show know I'm a member of the Professional Speaking Association as well. So Denise was the president last year.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time, Patrick. It was, yeah.
Cool. 2 questions I have for you now, if that's okay. Everyone I meet and everyone I've met and everyone I will meet have their own version of success. And it's not up to me to tell people whether their version of success is right or wrong. It's just so that they can articulate what their version of success is. So, or what success means to you. People who listen in know that. I like Maya Angelou's version, who says success is liking who you are, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Right? But everyone has their own version. So what's Denise Fay's version of success?
Gosh, now you're putting me on the spot, but can I take Maya's? I like hers.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You know what, and maybe, you know what, it's so success means different things at different times, doesn't it? Because I'm actually thinking here, like back when I was in my corporate days, it was, you know, earning as much money as I could, probably spending as much money as I could to you know, it was the house and the car and actually being very independent. And so I suppose if you look about it, then that was successful. But success now these days, it's, I suppose, you know what, it's actually doing what you like, you know, and I'm going to use Maya's, and I don't really mean to use Maya's, but it actually is enjoying what you do. I think yes, there is, like, you know, the financial side of success. I wouldn't I would lie if I said there wasn't a financial success part of me, because I am a high achiever, and it's hard when, you know, that would be one of my determinants. But one of my other determinants, like, you know, what success means is when somebody just takes action on what you say. So if you actually, like, you know, I'll put out loads of marketing information and somebody takes action on that, even if I know it or don't know it, just the fact that they're taking action, that is actually success to me, because that means then I'm using my voice. I'm not being invisible. You know, I have a voice, I have a passion for marketing. I'm merging those two to actually inspire and help other people. So that's definitely an element of success as well.
And then by doing that, you're helping them have a greater impact and make a bigger difference, right?
100%, yeah.
Fantastic, well done. You know, you've mentioned it, and thanks for mentioning it, because the more it gets mentioned, the better. Having a life while making a living is my tagline.
I love it.
When you hear that, what springs to mind?
Oh, you know what, there's so much, I suppose, what springs up for that one, like having a life while making a living. It's actually enjoying life. And I think that, you know what, and a lot of people don't enjoy life. I think a lot of people sleepwalk through life because they think there's no other options, whereas you give people options with that whole sentence. And if people stop and actually think about that, you know what, you can go, you know what, I can actually have a life while making a living. And that's not to, like, you know, just like, you know, so some people find that really hard to kind of think about, right? But they'll say that's okay for you because, you know, you've got, like, you know, whatever, right? So they'll list off whatever, all the stuff that you have and that they may not have. But actually, if you take a stop, it gives people hope that there is more to their life than what they're actually doing. And you know what, life is a game, as in Paul Davis will always say that, you know, another member of the PSA, life is a game. And that when we stop enjoying life, and like, that doesn't mean to say that things aren't hard or easy, right? Because like, you know, we all come across, like, I had an accident 2 years ago, like, you know, took me 2 years to kind of get over it. Was I enjoying life then? Probably not, but there was definitely pockets of time where I did, like, you know, so there's moments in time where we just have to stop and actually just go, you know what, life is pretty good. And it's on your cup, I think, as well, there, isn't it? Life is good. I think that having a make a living gives people hope.
Yeah, it is. And hope is a beautiful message. So thanks for that. That's the first time someone came with that message when I asked them that question. You see, that's why it's always good to ask questions, Denise. As a coach, I should know that. So I'm gonna ask you one more question, only one more, Denise. So it's like, if you were to give people who make a difference, people like yourself and myself, if you were to give them one free tip for marketing, what would it be?
It's going to be a foundational piece. So it's not going to be earth-shattering in terms of digital tools or anything like that. but it's to make a commitment to be more visible. Because if you can't help people if they don't know that you exist, right? If they don't know that you exist and how you help them and how you transform their life, well, then you're not going to make the impact that you want.
Cool.
So it is to make a commitment to being visible. And by visible, I don't mean just putting out social media posts. It's actually a full commitment to, like, you know, going all into marketing, to, like, you know, deciding who you want, what's your message, what's the transformation, and actually saying, you know what, I am here. This is me. I am going to own my difference. And then, you know what, I'm going to attract, you're going to love this one. I'm going to attract the right people and I'm going to repel the wrong people. So that would be the piece of advice that I'd leave you with.
Fantastic. I hope this chat will have made you a little bit more visible. Denise, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me here on the Limerick City Community Radio and on the YouTube channel. And success for the future. And I'm sure we'll talk again.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. You take care. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.